Yeah. Well, welcome to Joey's podcast, Helping Others. And today we're with Jonathan Guajardo.
How you doing?
And we are live streaming. This opportunity came up where I had a former student of mine that works for a local community college organization district here, and just wanted to test out their streaming services. And so I was happy to oblige. And it was kind of cool because a lot of the people that we're working with today were former students of mine, so it almost feels like we were in class. And Johnny was actually in class with them too, so it's kind of neat to.
We were all in class together at some point. Everyone here.
Yeah. So it's cool to kind of be in a space where I got to help these students do this stuff, and now they're having us do stuff. And as you all know, Johnny is a friend of mine, and he's also taught before at OLU,
Our Lady of the Lake University.
Our Lady of the Lake,
Yep.
And owns his own media company, GA Media, here in San Antonio, Texas. And today we're at Launch SA, and we're just going to talk a little bit about some stuff that we didn't get to cover in our first podcast. And some of that has to deal with how we one of the things that came up was, since we're working with doing this streaming with the local community college district. I think it's Alamo Community District or ACD. And Johnny and I always had a lot of fun attending all the community college events, and what's super interesting is that neither of us attended, I don't think.
I don't know. Well, I did some dual credit courses at SAC.
Yeah, I did dual credit Northwest Vista. Yeah.
So,
but I never really got to step onto the campuses.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, Johnny and I had a huge love for going to events at the community colleges, and it's always been really cool to kind of see all the projects and initiatives in school, programming that they've put together. So, for example, they showed us their beauty and technician school, and that was a really cool space that we got to check out. But one of the main things that Johnny and I would regularly attend is this event called Pack Fest at Palo Alto Community College here in San Antonio on the south side.
Mm-hmm.
And I smile because we would go and take photos and video, and we did. I think they had a drone, and we also got to do some drone stuff.
And check out with Pal the Palomino.
Yeah.
Now Primo the Palomino.
Yeah, so, that was another thing that Johnny and I really got into when he was a student of mine, and then even after he graduated, was that we were really into mascots. And so we loved looking into all the different lineages of the mascots at the local community colleges, because there's 5 community colleges, so they have more mascots than any other college in town.
Oh yeah.
And so we like to have these kind of rivalries. And
I still feel like Powell would win in a showdown.
We got to see Powell, we saw a video of Powell doing a dance-off that was pretty impressive, and that always kind of left a mark in my mind about them. But what's cool about Palo Alto is that we had so many students and friends of yours that came through PAC and just had gotten this really cool experience going there. And I got to work with Mike Flores, the president at the time, and Johnny and I would try all these new media projects there. I think we did some projection mapping.
Oh yeah.
And just all kinds of events. And so it was a really cool time. And one of our good friends, a mutual best friend, is Christian Rios, and he went to PAC and he played basketball there, and that was really cool. And when we were doing PAC Fest, when we go to PAC Fest one time, Christian had a booth for his then arcade that he had, and it was pretty crazy because we got to go to this event, and then Christian had some fight sticks out there and had his company out there that he was pushing, and it was kind of this
going and all
that.
That. Yep.
It was cool to kind of get to see this grassroots trajectory happening, and then the arcade led to starting a hi-fi store and kind of going from there.
Mm-hmm.
And and now it's like the three of us pretty much we hang out probably like once or twice a month.
Oh yeah.
And it's cool to
All
see.
together.
Yeah, all together. We hang out all the time individually, but it's really cool to see everybody's trajectories, and I think that's, coming back to the theme of like helping others, is that this kind of trajectory in space that I'm talking about is like how San Antonio is a really interesting place in terms of knowing other people.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could speak to that a little.
It's very it's very circular. Like you'll meet someone somewhere, and they'll know someone else, and they'll be a cousin with someone else, and they'll all be related somehow. They'll all know each other, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because it only adds to the sense of San Antonio being a big city with a small town feel.
Yeah.
Because of the ways that the community can interact with each other, and people know each other. And so that's one of the things. I know you were talking about the Alamo colleges, and with Palo Alto. And my company, as well, GA Media, we had the opportunity to work, doing a few events at Palo Alto and for Palo Alto, including the 2017 or is it 2016
Yeah.
mayoral debate.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty fun.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
There's all these different ways in which the city is just more like a little community.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've really enjoyed when I come back during the week or on the weekends, weekends from College Station, is getting to like reconnect. And even today there was an ACD event here at Launch SA earlier.
Mm-hmm.
That was about entrepreneurship and innovation.
Mm-hmm.
And it was amazing to see the district and then all 5 colleges kind of give their perspectives and ideas about innovation and entrepreneurship. And then it's like really cool because like I got to see that. Johnny didn't get to be there, but then I get to talk to Johnny about it, and his our mutual interest is entrepreneurial communication.
Yeah.
And so, it's really neat to kind of just keep those trajectories going. I think that's one of the things that I really recommend people to do, is like to go out to events and try and network and meet other people, not in a financial way, even though you're doing business and entrepreneurial projects, but to go in a way where you're trying to help other people, and then you can reap the benefits of those relationships. I think firstly as like a genuine, earnest kind of like yearning to help others, and then if business comes out of it, great. I don't know. Well, I know you go to a lot of events as well.
Yeah, well, and I think that's an excellent point. And one of the things that you gain from going to these events is you meet people who you may have mutual contacts with, and who everyone kind of knows as well. And so people who I know, people who you know.
Yeah.
And then people who we mutually know, and then it's amazing how many people we actually mutually know.
Right.
Well, like if you go to our Facebooks or our social networks, you can really see like oh man, I have like 300 friends in common with Joseph Lopez. I even realized that.
Yeah, I mean, I literally had somebody come up to me at that event earlier and was just like, "I'd really like to be on your podcast," and I hadn't told them about my podcast.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm not a big deal, like at all. I maybe have
It's
like
kinda
500.
growing.
I have like 500 subscribers, and then I ended up realizing that this person was somebody I've met and talked to multiple times throughout the years, but I just hadn't seen her in about probably 5 literal years. And so it was really cool to kind of see that people are paying attention and checking out what's going on. We had a question from a viewer about our participation in Luminaria.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, they asked if we had done Luminaria, but yes, both of us have actually done Luminaria multiple times. Johnny worked with me informally on the Casa de Luz project.
Oh yeah.
If you remember that, Ruth Puenteo.
Through the CM Collective, right?
Yeah. We had we did a projection mapping project with local artists from Mazarilas named Ruth Puenteo, and she's amazing, both as an artist and like a community arts advocate.
Mm-hmm.
And then we ended up doing a bigger kind of project where we actually worked with somebody who's part of the team that we're doing this streaming with, had an idea to put the images of famous people and others on tortillas. And we worked with the collective, or we worked as the collective,
Yeah.
and we worked with Timbit Works, and we raised about $3,000 along with Luminaria's contributions to buy a $6,000 portable laser cutter so that we could do this project like full-fledged. And it turned out like amazing.
Oh yeah.
Our booth was
Everyone
ahead.
loved it.
Yeah, I mean, people just, it was packed the whole night.
And it made news too.
Yeah, it made the news,
Yeah.
and it also was really crazy because the line for people to get their tortillas made was longer than we could actually produce them, and so a lot of people ended up going to the makerspace to have it made, and so they ended up getting to experience, you know, what a makerspace is and learn more about like 3D printing and the laser cutting and all the resources that were there to like help other people. And
Those tortillas really kept, by the way. I still have my
Yeah.
GE Media tortilla.
Yeah,
I found it the other day.
I still have one of Christian in a baggie, and it's like rock solid, but it's like, I mean, it's solid. It's
Yeah, oh,
still
yeah.
there.
Yeah, it's still, I mean, there's no
Yeah.
mold on it. You
Yeah,
know?
there's nothing on
it's- I wouldn't eat it, but it's there.
They were HEB tortillas, by the way.
Oh yeah, yeah. Shout out.
Shout out to HEB. Yeah, we did that project, and then in tandem, we did a projection mapping project where we took up like half a block and used an abandoned business, like a building, and we set up, I think it was like 4 or 5 projectors, and worked with
Yeah.
Aaron Pena and Luis
Inside
Vasquez.
of it and on the windows.
Yeah.
That works. That was
And we
really cool.
frosted out the windows and did this really cool like Luminaria promotional piece where we had our own abstract videos, and then we also had some videos on the walls. And we'll put a link to all this stuff that we're talking about.
That was an amazing project.
Yeah.
And that building was a trip too.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just say that the building has been fully renovated since we were in it.
Yes,
And
thankfully.
and it needed to be at the time.
Yeah, it was a gaping hole in its design.
Yeah, but the other thing that happened that was really interesting about that event was that unfortunately they had a big rain situation.
Yeah.
And they got rained out one night, and it was pretty detrimental. But we really worked with Kathy Armstrong, the executive director, and Ethel Shipton, who was like, I believe their technical director, but don't quote me on that. 2 amazing people that are really outgoing, and they really appreciated that. And so when we did like more the second night with them, we had a really good time, kind of like a very like serendipitous experience where we went and shot some videos and photos for them and posted them up, and it was really cool. It was cool that we could not only do our projects but also go and capture the value of other people's projects at the same time. And we ended up making some really cool videos kind of documenting that Luminaria. And then the last Luminaria I did was with Gary Schwartz. Did you meet Gary?
I met Gary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary's cool. Gary's real cool.
This guy, I wish I could have him on my podcast, but he is in Detroit most of the time. But if I can get him to fly down, I would totally interview him. Talk about somebody that helps others. In addition to the arts advocacy programming we did with Luminaria the year we worked on it, we visited 10 schools in 8 days and did programming with them as well. And we taught stop motion animation, and it went really, really well. And for the Luminaria project, we actually had a full lighting kit and, not lighting kit, sorry, a full LED display for our stop motion animation project that we did with the Sutton Oaks community. We worked with young children in an after-school program and developed a make stuff animation, and it was amazing. Again, I'll share a link to that. But we, as the collective, ended up consulting a little bit and helping with Luminaria that year as well, and put them in contact with Megalite. I don't know if you remember Megalite, but that was a company Jeremy worked for.
Oh, yeah,
at
that's
the
right.
time. And they're a manufacturer of like high-end lighting for live production. and they ended up providing like just a bunch of like huge LCD walls and computer control light kits. And Luis Vasquez.
Oh, yeah.
Who, man, we should have Luis on.
That's the guy we should
sometime.
have on the podcast.
Yeah, Luis.
We should be at the restaurant.
Yeah, dude, we can
should
do it
be
at the restaurant.
That'd be
so
awesome.
Our friend Luis Vasquez, shout out to
Sabor la
restaurant.
Cocina Mexicana. Only the best Mexican food.
Yeah. If you ever want to read a little bit about Sabor, you just go to Yelp
Yep, yes.
and check out Johnny's review, and you'll see how great of a writer Johnny is.
And how great the food is at Sabor
Yeah.
la Cocina Mexicana.
Yeah, located off Bandera and Mainland. Oh, Gilbo.
Gilbo. Bandera and Gilbo, yeah, yeah.
Bandera and Gilbo. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
It's right there by the big lots.
Yep, yep.
You know,
Right behind
Dollar Tree. I
Yes.
think. Yeah.
And behind Moonlight Ballroom.
Yeah,
Shout
Moonlight
out.
Ballroom. So, we ended up getting like drone footage and capturing the whole event, and so yeah, Luminaria definitely played a big role in a lot of the stuff that we've done, and we've gotten to meet a lot of cool people from it. So thanks for that question. But yeah, in general, Johnny and I have been on a lot of different adventures. We also worked with the Institute of Texan Cultures on a lot of projects,
That's always fun.
which I haven't told Johnny yet, but tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., I am meeting with the ITC to talk about some more food videos and projection.
Oh, sweet.
So
That would be awesome if we could do that.
Yeah. It's going to be about Filipino culture, and so
Awesome.
we just run into these projects. Angelica Docag is the executive director at the Institute of Texan Cultures, and she's just been amazing with. I don't even know how to describe what she lets us do, but it's just a really interesting like think tank meetups that we get to have, where we do get to put some of them into practice. Johnny helped out. You want to talk about the documentary work we did with the kids?
Like Converging Texan Cultures?
No,
Or
the Smithsonian.
Oh, the Smithsonian work, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, when we taught them how to use the DSLRs and shoot documentary work.
Yeah.
This was at UIW
Yeah.
a few years back, actually.
Yeah.
Was it? And I remember that actually pretty distinctly, because we were out there, and so basically we were teaching these kids what they call it, and what was the program it was for?
It was Korean American high school students.
That's right,
that,
yeah.
We were teaching how to do oral histories
Mhm.
of their elders.
Yeah.
And
Kind
it
of
was
like documentary
Right.
style interviews, basically.
Yeah, and it was for a Asian film festival in San Francisco, and,
Yeah.
and the students actually flew out and went to the
It was a pretty legit opportunity for
to
them.
the festival and showed their films,
Mhm.
and then Angelica went with them, and we just got to be support. And they ended up displaying it at the ITC, and we got to kind of check that
That's
out.
right, I remember that,
remember
yeah.
seeing that.
And that was a really fun experience, like just getting these kids, who already come in with, a very big technological, background, or like smartphones and all that,
Right.
and getting them to think in a way that, okay, well, this is going to be a film that we're going to show professionally, and,
Yeah.
something we want to showcase our work with, and we want to have these oral histories for a while.
Yeah.
And so really showing them how to document that using DSLRs. I think we used, Canon 6Ds.
Yeah, yeah.
Back then it was the
We used
Canon
some wireless
T3i
mics.
or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Some wireless mics, and that was really fun, just being able to teach them how to preserve these histories.
And they all, it was really cool. We did this exercise where one interviewed, one asked the questions, and then one ran the camera, and we would switch them around,
Mhm.
and they would all kind of get this reciprocal experience with doing oral histories, and kind of learning that it's the questions,
Mhm.
it's how you ask them, it's your rapport that you build up with your subject, and as to how you get people to tell stories. And so I think it's something that I literally incorporate to this day in my classes. I have oral histories every semester in almost every
Mhm.
class they do them, because I feel like it helps people understand that the story is how you sell things.
Mhm.
Like your story is paramount. It has to be genuine and authentic. And I think interviewing and doing oral history is like a really great way to start that process, because people are telling you their genuine stories.
Mhm.
So it was that was a cool project. We did another cool project where we did the skateboarding project. Do you remember
Oh, the
that?
Tony Hawk thing? Yeah, I remember that. That was with the institute as well.
Yeah, yeah.
That was hilarious, but super fun.
Yeah, they were saying that they had gotten a really big bid from a company or institution to rent a skateboarding experience, and so we were like, why don't you just get Tony Hawk
Yeah.
on Xbox? And they kind of looked at us puzzled, and then we brought it in, and we were able to get the curriculum developer and Angelica to get up on the board and play the game, and then being the big guy that I am, I got on the board and was like, look, it doesn't break, and I said, if you're worried about it breaking, these games are like $20 a piece, just buy like 5 boards, and
That's it.
But I really didn't see them break. They ended up having none of them break.
Yeah.
But what was really cool that like blew me away about that collaboration was that they actually contacted like Tony Hawk's reps.
Oh, yeah.
And got full permission to use this. And the display that it was going with was a indigenous artists skateboards paintings, and so or like. Man, what's the word for it? Like,
Well,
what would be the art that was on the deck? Like deck art. I
Yeah, yeah.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Deck
so,
art,
yeah,
not-
yeah.
yeah, it's- that'd be
So
cool,
it was
yeah.
literally the decks, and they had like this really cool paintings on them. And so, no, I was just like, that's a lot of what Johnny and I like to do are like really rich storytelling. Another project that I don't work on, but that he works on, is Deserted Texas, which
Oh, yeah.
kind of goes in that direction as well.
Yeah, it's all about ghost towns. So going out and we investigate old Texas ghost towns, and so we've done like I think we've shot like maybe 6, 7 ghost towns, and so we have a website called www.desertedtexas.org where you can go check all this out. But we have on there was it a couple different towns, one of which was Helena, which is kind of close by here down south. And then we went to some in East Texas, one called Aldridge, which we had to hike through the woods for like 2 hours to get to, and then.
But it was there.
It was there. Oh yeah, yeah. No, we hiked through for 2 hours. It was pouring rain. Got to this ghost town, and it was amazing. It just emerged from the woods. And it was an old mill town. So yeah, I mean, going out and seeing these towns really kind of helps you reflect on this is what Texas was, this is what Texas is now, and seeing how it transitioned from being this old mining town, and now it's in the middle of a park. I think it's the Angelina National Forest.
Yeah.
So I mean, like stuff like that, and then other ghost towns we've been to, like Duel,
Right.
where they have things still exactly intact. There'll be like a TV set, a couch, some cups on the table. And there's no one curating this. There's no one, making sure it stays that way. That's just the way you walk into an abandoned house in this ghost town, and it's set up the exact way it was when they left 25, 30 years ago, and there's still clothes in the closet, and it really makes you reflect on the way that this was a community that was thriving at one point, and now it's not anymore. But what does it mean now? What does it mean to Texas, and how are we going to preserve this history and note that this used to be a community, and and it still is, for some people. They have all these memories there.
Yeah. So Johnny and I can literally go on and on and on because we have done so many projects together, and we still do them together. Like we're doing the entrepreneur communication project, and we literally have a parking page right now. But as you can tell, like the projects we do, we carry out to like the fullest. And so I'm really excited about where we end up going with that, and kind of one of the other things that was brought up at the ACD thing that you and I have talked a lot about is social good, and especially in terms of business and advocacy. And so I think that'll be another topic when we meet up again for a podcast to
I think
kind of
that'd be a great topic. Yeah, it was entrepreneurship for social good. So.
Yeah. So we want to thank you all so much for checking out our live stream, and we hope you enjoyed it, and let us know what you think, because maybe we'll do some more of these again.
Oh yeah.
So thank you all so much. Y'all have a wonderful day.